Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cheryl, and today I'm here to bring you my spoiler-free review for Life of Pi by Jan Martel. Now, I feel like I'm like the last person in the world to have read this book because it is just everywhere. Everyone on BookTube has read it, but just everyone in my life has read it even people who don't read, I feel like, have read this book. So, last to the party with this one. But this, if you don't know, if you're like one of the other people that haven't read it like me, if you don't know, this is a story that follows Pi. He is the son of a zookeeper and his family lives in India. His father considers himself and his family new Indians, meaning they are richer. They don't really rely on religion or anything like that. They're kind of the new generation. Pi himself, though, is a very spiritual person. Pi wants to be a Christian, a Hindu, and a Muslim all at the same time and can't quite understand why the people around him are like, you have to choose one. So that is like the beginning of the novel. That is what you find out when you first start. And then there's a political uprising in India. Gandhi took over, I guess. I don't really know the history of India to really like be able to say one way or another. And his father didn't agree with Gandhi's policies on a lot of things, so he decided that this was the time that he was going to move his family to America finally. So his father works on selling a lot of the zoo animals that he has, and on one of the ships that's transporting the zoo animals, they also are going to America on that ship. The ship sinks, and of course Pi finds himself on a boat stuck with a Bengal tiger, an orangutan, a hyena, and a zebra whose leg is broken. And that is just the most basic introduction of the book. I found the writing of this book very difficult to get into at first. Like, there would be paragraphs that would be literally the size of a page without any breaks, and it was kind of poetic-y language. It just felt kind of a little over the top and pretentious at times, if I am honest. And the language and the book itself just dragged on and on, especially in the probably would say the second half of the book when he's specifically on the boat. You would think that would have been the most interesting time of the book, but the chapters would feel very, very repetitive, and you're just like, I just read 5 other chapters that were identical to this one. And so it dragged on and on and on, and I don't know if that was intentional, so you could see how monotonous Pi's life was while on this boat or what, but I just didn't appreciate that very much. I also found it interesting that Pi was such a spiritual person, but just all the different allegories and like religious allegories and just the over-dominating presence of religion in this book when it wasn't specifically a religious book, I didn't personally appreciate that much. Now, that being said, I am not a particularly religious person. If you are, I feel like that would not bother you whatsoever because it isn't a specific religion. Like I said, Pi is just in general a very spiritual person, but there were just the overtones of religion were very heavy in this book, and it kind of bogged it down for me. There also is something I was not expecting when I went into this, which maybe that's on me, but there was really graphic descriptions of animal deaths specifically in this book, because even though Pi ended up in the boat with all of the different types of animals, it does end up just being him and the tiger, so you can kind of imagine what happened. Between those descriptions and like the descriptions of Pi hunting like turtles and fish later on, they were just really, really unnecessarily graphic at times, and I was just like, oh, because I am not a vegetarian. I used to be. I was one for about 6 years, so I don't like, even now eating meat, I don't like anything really relating to animal deaths or anything like that. Stuff still makes me squeamish, so that was kind of hard to get into in this book. So if you are not wanting a book with violence, especially towards animals, then I would not recommend this one, honestly. But yeah, overall I did enjoy this book. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, it did feel very repetitive and tedious at times. I felt like it was really drawn out. Probably could have been like a third of the size. Well, maybe not that much, that little. Maybe about half the size, and you still would have gotten the general gist and the meat of the story without having to read just the page after page after page of a repetitive language. And this was honestly one of the first books in a while that I've picked up where as I was reading it, I was counting down the pages. I'd look at the page number, be like, okay, read for another 20 minutes, look down the page number, and be like, oh, I've only gotten that far, because I don't know if it was the writing, if it was the story, because the story itself was interesting. I was able to push myself through it, but overall, I'm happy I read it, but I can't particularly say that it was a pleasurable reading experience, which makes me kind of sad because, like I said, this book was everywhere. It won a whole bunch of awards, so to not really enjoy it as much as I was expecting to was kind of disappointing, to be honest. So anyway, that is my spoiler-free review for Life of Pi by Jan Martel. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social media, which is always linked down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!